What's up, home crew? Back for another video. So, today's going to be an interesting topic. I thought of a lot of different ways to, I've gone through all different scenarios, different ways to describe what I'm going to share with you today. And one of the first things that is very clear to me, an example to share it, would be if you break your arm and the swelling happens right after the break, it swells up. And you go to the doctor, and a lot of times if the swelling is too much, they can't even really see the break very well through the x-ray. So you have to allow the swelling to go down in order to really see the break. And also, the swelling has to go down in order for healing to start taking place. As far as the break goes, in order for the doctor even to set the bones, a lot of times, the swelling has to be down, just for alignment to take place, so everything is aligned and everything heals, back, say, straight, and where everything can function well. And so please take this example of the swelling going down throughout this topic that I'm going to discuss. So, about, I don't know if it's March or somewhere around in there, March or April of this year, right after the last set of, actually there's been several levels of protests in these last months, so it's hard to even know exactly where in the heck it was, within there somewhere. So I shared the statement on Facebook, and those of you that know me know that I share a lot of different stuff to see what spurs or triggers certain people to do different things, to get a feel for really what is going on in this, in the different ways of our collective. And also, as I described in my previous video, I share information basically to give people choices. There's so much one-sided viewpoints out there regarding traditional media, and the way that people have been programmed and so on is very, in a lot of different ways, one-sided. Providing alternative viewpoints to allow people a choice to see an alternative view and allow for a choice. We all have free will, allowing people the free will to see alternative viewpoints, and therefore the choice of, say, to release fear and the reason to release fear and so on. So I'm trying to keep this video as short as possible, but this topic that is so immense, I don't know if I'm going to be able to break this up in several videos or not. So I shared this statement about releasing color on Facebook several months ago. That, the way I see it is that we release, all these identities and these classifications. We're all human. And it doesn't matter how big we are, how tall we are, what, color eyes we have, or color hair we have, or shade of skin that we have. And so my proposal was is that we release all these classifications and basically say light skin, medium toned skin, dark skin. And we're over and done with it. Light skin, medium toned skin, dark skin. And I was told that a lot of people view such as that suggestion and viewpoint as being racist. You're racist because you are not seeing or identifying and or respecting, someone's, say, color skin, which totally, in some ways, baffles me. But everybody can see things as they wish. The biggest thing is that, there's one thing that I do know, and have a lot of experience with. Not just in this lifetime, but other lifetimes. And it's a matter of knowing this for me, to be able to see, identify, and also observe the patterns of the ego. And for me, the observing, the attachment, say, to an identity, is cause for, say, suffering in some way. It's going to cause turbulence. It's going to cause a struggle. And the more that we go through this within ourselves, of course, then it's duplicated in the outside world. I'm trying to keep this as simple as possible with the overflowing pile of information that basically I have right here to share. So the biggest thing is that I'm not necessarily concerned with somebody calling me a racist. That's they can call me a racist. Anyone in this world can call me a racist they want. If basically all I'm saying is that we are one. We are one. It doesn't matter about the classifications or, identities and or everything. We are one, not only as a physical form, but an energetic form on a collective of this earth and beyond. And if anybody in this reality or any other reality within existence wishes to call me a racist for basically seeing and sharing things like that, then they can freely do so. I don't have a problem with that. Because I know that the truth is that basically we are all one. Not just as a physical form on this earth, but infinitely. So, that's a little bit about my viewpoint regarding that. I'm going to share a couple of things that basically were coming to me regarding this whole topic. It's through a lot of forms of identity and classification is how people are manipulated and controlled. If you look on a lot of forums, documents, and so on in the United States and in different portions of the world, basically it has races, it has different identities regarding, what you look like and so on. I'll just give a couple examples here. The majority of the people in the United States are immigrants other than the natives that actually lived here in the first place. So at one time, the Irish people that were actually, came over to the United States, a lot of them were actually slaves. That's a whole other topic. But the biggest thing is there are a ton of Irish settled, people here. And I'm basically have ties through my mother's side of the family back to Ireland. So, but I don't call myself an Irish American. The same thing for Italians. There are a lot of Italian Americans in this Italians in the United States. But on all of these forms that basically are out there in this, in our United States, I have not to see one yet that basically says classify yourself as an Irish American or an Italian American. So, and there's a lot of Italians with darker shade skin, medium toned skin. They're not, labels like all these other things such as that's out there. If you really notice what is actually classified or labeled on a lot of these forms, Hispanic American, some say African American, even though these people were born in the United States, they are sort of funneled and or told that basically they have to classify themselves as one of these classifications or labels because that's just the way it is. When in a lot of different ways, all these other descendants of people from other parts of the world don't have to do that. They basically they're known as an American, or say somebody from the United States that were born and basically raised here. I'm going to say right now, and I am, the way I see it is these forms of classifications are basically a form of manipulation and control. It creates the view of separation. That is the key. It creates the view of separation. And as long as that view of separation exists, there's always a polarity that basically creates a battle. That's what's been going on. I mean, a lot of people view dark, toned skinned people as black. And a lot of times they have a medium toned skin. And again, the classification, white, black, think about it. Through separation, that is how we are manipulated and controlled. The guiding or telling people that you have to choose a side, that you have to choose a color. I don't see white, black, medium toned skin, brown skin as colors in the first place. The only the most colorful person in the world that I've seen in the last couple, my time, is Trump. When he puts on too much freaking tanning spray, it's too orange. It's orange. Then orange to me is more of a color. So anyway, there is no good or bad or right, wrong regarding what I'm saying here. I am sharing what I see and what I know. What I know is if we hold on to forms of identity, basically, I wrote this. Let's see what the heck, make sure I say it. As long as we are holding on to a form of identity, we're holding on to a level of separation. And that's it. We could do it through our own self, on our multidimensional self. If we remember a form of our identity from another level of our own self, from another, say, incarnation or something like that, we hold on to it. If we hold on to too much, basically it causes restriction. Therefore, just embrace your multidimensional self in all forms, in all identities, throughout all time and space. The same thing we're going through as a collective. People, very, very much say swelled, the swelling is, as I gave that example at the beginning regarding the broken barn, the swelling is very intense right now. Everything is swollen up. The listening receptors within people's, say, mind are not even open when the swelling is there. They're not hearing and or having any willingness to listen. It's more on a reactionary and defense attack way when our consciousness is basically swelled up and basically in that way and projecting our views on others. This is one of the reasons why I waited several months to basically talk or share anything about this, is because the swelling is so much within the collective on this polarities of this topic and other related topics regarding this. But the swelling is continuing to go up. There's more stuff that continues to happen. So that's the reason why I decided to go ahead and share what I had to say regarding this. The swelling is going to have to come down in order for more healing to take place. What that's going to take, I have no idea. It's going to take people basically relaxing. And, hopefully we won't have continued events that continue to spur and trigger, things to stay inflated. Therefore, it will allow the swelling to go down to where we can get things aligned, aligned into oneness. The healing will start taking place beyond barriers, beyond identities, beyond whatever people view as different races, but there's only one race. So those are the main things. I don't want to drag this video out any further. I think those are the main points that I wanted to share. If we're holding on to a form of identity, we're holding on to a form of separation. There's no debating that. It basically is what it is. Just like we are one infinite connected level of consciousness, multi-dimensional realities. So I'm just not going to continue to ramble. Main points I've shared. There's no really reason I see to take a side regarding people to say, yeah, you're right, or you're wrong. People can say whatever the heck they want. The biggest thing is I share what I share to offer alternative views and choices. I honor everyone's free will to view things how they wish. And that's it. Cheers, my friends. I'll see you next time.